Welcome back to another episode of Mommy and Me. I'm Brii Renee, straight from the A.
And I'm the original Miss Renee, also from the A.
Okay, well, you see how I did that? I didn't even say nothing this time. I'm going past that. At this point, everybody has said that it is our
Tag.
It's our tag.
But you got to understand, I am the original one because without this Renee, there wouldn't be a Brii Renee.
You're right. I'm just the one who thought of the tag. That's
Okay.
all.
That's fine.
Okay. Well, welcome back to another episode. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in each and every Monday on my YouTube channel. If you haven't done so, make sure you like, comment, share these videos, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a Mommy and Me Monday. And we've been growing. We slowly been growing. So we appreciate everybody out there that's like coming back to watch, binging all the episodes. And I think it's really dope that everybody is saying that they're having these conversations at home.
That's wonderful.
I like that some moms have commented like, hey, I'm using this to open up dialogue or have these same type of conversations with my daughter or son or, just getting their feedback. And I think that's healthy. I think that's kind of, even though when I started this, I wasn't doing it I wasn't thinking that big, but now it's like, okay, that's what I would want to do it for.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So shout out to y'all. Hopefully that is healing. I feel like we be healing. Have you healed anything?
Have I healed?
Yeah.
I can say that I've done some healing.
I'm saying through this.
Yeah. I mean, it has opened my eyes and I see things a little differently now. Some things I agree with, some things I still don't agree with.
Mm-hmm.
One of the sore topics for me is that gentle parenting.
We're not gonna go down that rabbit hole.
Gonna go down that
but
rabbit
it's okay.
But that's one thing that
I think I did some healing in that, so maybe you can take that with you.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
It was healing for me. But yeah, well, today I wanted to talk about marriage and long-term commitment because I feel like society is always telling women, get married, or you guys your ultimate goal is to be a wife or, have children, be a mom, create this family, and they're always telling you what to do, but they're not telling you how to do it. And I feel like nobody is teaching you how to be a wife or how to pick a husband, how to attract a husband, what to look for, what to build your relationship with. Like nobody gives you any of these tools to do it correctly. And then we wonder why it continuously is done incorrectly and why the divorce rates are so high. And everybody is putting all of your value into whether or not you can get the ring or get married, but nobody is putting any value into giving you the tools to keep the husband or keep the marriage going, or what that looks like. I think that things have changed so much in the last 20, 30, even 50 years. Like our grandparents got married out of survival. If they got married, like, you know what I mean? Some people, grandparents at my grandmother or great grandmother, women could not own a bank account. They could not drive. Most of them were uneducated by traditional society norms. They didn't graduate high schools or colleges. They couldn't buy homes in their name. Some of them couldn't even go and get their own career and provide for themselves, on their own. So marriage was a necessity out of survival. And I think that back then what men required because of that was completely different. It's like, hey, if I'm going to be working as a man back then, I'm working and providing for not only you, sometimes our children, sometimes other people's children. Men would come in and you already had kids and take care of those kids and marry you and raise them like his own. But they were working so much, they didn't have time to thrive or to think past survival of how to feed these kids in this family. So I think that what they required then was kind of almost fundamental. Like, of course, make sure if I bring the money home, make these $10 to stretch or whatever. Make sure these kids have what they need and you do the home mathematical part of that. You know what I mean? The semantics of it. But I think now that we all have, even though times are still hard, but we all have a little bit more freedom when it comes to surviving. Like women can provide for themselves. Men also don't have to work as hard as they used to provide. Like everybody has a little bit more leisure. Therefore, our requirements and desires have changed. It's like, I want a woman that can do this, like, or people want different things in a relationship other than basic survival needs now. And so with that, I feel like the times of instruction did not change. It did not grow. It did not evolve to give us new instruction. I feel like there needs to be an evolution of teaching done.
That's a mouthful. First of all, I want to say that I don't think that we should teach women how to be wives. Because like you said, that every person desire and require something different. I think marriage is a partnership. It's when two people who are like-minded, but certainly different, can agree and come together and decide to make a life together, regardless of what that looks like. Understanding that it's a give and take. Understanding that every day is not going to be peaches and cream. Understanding that sometime, at any given time in the relationship, one or the other got to put on the big girl panties or the big boy draws and make sacrifices. And that is sometimes giving up your right for their wrong just for the sake of compromising. Sometimes being able to say, okay, I don't agree, but I respect that. Sometimes people, we in order to make a marriage work, I think that people have to get to a point in life and understand what's truly important to them and to the survival of the relationship. Now, first of all, I think you have to do some fundamental things. I think you have to look, and this may sound very simple, but I think you have to evaluate that individual, all of their likes and their dislikes. And for some people, maybe you need to write them down and say that, this person possessed these qualities, this person possessed these qualities. Now, I don't necessarily like these qualities that person possessed, but am I willing to put up with those qualities in that person for the rest of my life? Am I happy with this person, or can I be happier without this person in my life? These are some questions that I think everybody needs to ask themselves. Now,
am I happy with this person?
Right.
Or can I be happier without this person?
Yes. And I think that those are some serious questions we have to ask ourselves. And he said, going in, teaching you how to be a wife. I don't think there's a roadmap or instructions on teaching anybody how to be a husband or how to be a wife. I think the teaching comes in and teaching people how to just be good, God-fearing human beings, because you got to figure out how to jail together. Can't nobody teach you how to do that. There is no roadmap. People can tell you the foundation is, in any household, maybe the husband lead, but he leads by example, understanding that he answers to a higher power, and that spiritual power being his Lord and Savior, or his Christ, or whoever that might be. Understanding that, he has to live to a certain moral, ethical code. Likewise with the woman, you have to live by certain standards. But I don't think that there's a roadmap or there's a book that says, if you do this, this makes you a good wife. If you do that, that makes you a good husband. It is understanding how to maneuver within certain boundaries of each other. Now, sure, there's certain principles. You got to respect one another. You got to respect the person just because he's a man. Respect him as a man. A man has to respect the fact that you're a woman. But a man has to be man enough to stand up and understand that in a marriage, he can't act like a little bitch. You know, he's got to put his big boy drawers on and understand that he can't pout about everything. Everything's not going to be his way. Likewise, the female's got to do the same thing. You got to understand that everything's not going to be perfect. Everything's not going to be your way. You can't always have your way and then throw a temper tantrum when you can't have your way. You know, you got to realize what's going to work best for for the two of you.
Do you think that even though every relationship is going to be different because every single partner is going to require or care or prioritize different things in a relationship for their needs, right? Do you think that even though you're learning these things about certain people, that you should still have a basic set of skills to deal with people? Those are the skills that I'm talking about being taught. I remember we were in church.
Basic skills, respect.
Mm-hmm. But even past that, like past respect, honesty, loyalty, commitment, like being a woman of your word, things like that. But my pastor, she wasn't my pastor. She actually was a guest speaker at the church, a woman, and she was speaking about how she didn't like her husband for the first 6-7 years they were married. And then and she was saying how she had to learn how to treat him as if the man she wanted him to be, even though he wasn't being that in that moment.
That's very possible.
I never heard anybody say that though. I was like,
how in the hell could you live with somebody that you really didn't like?
For 7 years, where even just how can you show, what tools, what skill do you have to show up as if this person is something that they not, when they not being that?
Because she saw the potential. She had the patience and she had the discernment, and she was being led and guided by her higher spirit and power to just not give up and walk away. You see, God had to be talking to her and leading her and guiding her to do that.
I know.
Because a lot of us would have said, to hell with it, it's not what I want, not what I need at the moment.
6 years is a long time.
Yes. Yes, it is. But she saw the potential. She did some self-evaluation. She understood that she was happier with that person. Yeah, was he perfect? No, he had flaws. Yeah, but are his flaws that point to where I really can't deal with it, or I really don't want to deal with it or deal with him? Then she really know. I mean, I've got the patience. I understand him. I understand who he is, and I understand his ways, his thinking, to whereas I'm able to put up with it in order to get what I want out of this relationship. Because you got to understand something. A marriage is a contract. There's got to be something for something. Hey, I'm going to, as a man, protect you, take care of you, lead you. And then as a woman, I'm going to be that wife for you, bear your children, be that helpmate, help you along the way in any environment, that I can. It's a give and take.
Yeah.
It's not a tit for tat though.
How do you know when to have that discern or that tenacity or patience stay, and when it is to walk away? Because like you said, most people would walk away in year 3. Okay,
Yep.
I've been here for 3-4 years.
You got
ain't changing. I'm out. But
and you know what? You got
age 7, and now they've been married, I think 15, and she happy. It worked out.
Yeah. That's a conversation you got to have with the man upstairs who's got to lead you and guide you. I can't sit here and say, okay, baby, if it don't work out in 2 years, leave.
No,
okay,
it's not a time. I think
right.
What is it that? How do you know?
I think that's a discernment that comes from God.
You got to just pray on it.
You got to pray over it, and God's got to lead you and guide you. I mean, because I stayed in a relationship 20-something years, and I should have left after the first 5. And I stayed for all of
You feel like you should have left after the first 5?
Yeah.
Why?
Because after the first 5, I realized that I wasn't truly happy, and I stayed for all of the wrong reasons. And a lot of times we do that as women. We stay, I got the children, I got the house, I got the car. I really don't want to start over. We've got all these finances and all that. And at the same time, you're miserable. And that's not fair. It's not fair to you.
Do you feel like had you Do you think that you really should have left at 5 years, or do you think that you stayed exactly the exact amount of time you was
Obviously, I stayed exact amount of time I
That's what
should
I'm
have stayed.
saying. So maybe
But
it was
but my thinking was, looking back, perhaps I should have left after 5. But then, had I left after
you
5,
might have struggled.
I may have done a whole lot of things. There may have been a whole lot of other things that came after that.
Do you think that it's a right or wrong path or partner to choose, or are there just different options? Like, do you feel like there is the right one, or is it this could be the right one for this reasons and it could be the wrong one for these reasons, or this could be the right one for these like, is it just choices? Is it like an apple and an orange, or is it like life or death?
It's all apples and oranges. You see, I think God put certain people in your life for certain seasons and reasons. And when that season and reason has come and gone, it's time to move on. I really do. I mean, that's my thought. I mean, I'm being very honest and open about it. I think that you pick and choose. Now, see, the difference is when you pray to God for partner, and you're very specific about those desires in that partner, and He gives you those, He answers your prayer. That's a different story.
Yeah.
Because, see, you got to understand that when you pray to God, you also understand that that prayer may not be answered today or tomorrow. Now, I mentioned I thought I should have left after 5, but it took the next 15 years of me praying for Him to send the right one that I prayed for. And so, yeah, I think I should have left, but it took 15 years for me to get to that one that ultimately I feel is my heaven sent. So God sends you the prayers and the desires of your heart. And and for me, it took 15 years to get my prayers answered. And so with that understanding, yeah, people do come for a particular reason, time, and a season. And when it's time to move, it's time to move. And so everybody you fall in love with today very well may not be the one that you're ultimately supposed to end up with.
Don't you think that's cruel?
No.
Why
Because
why
of the learning.
love somebody so much and then it not work out? Or like, why do you be in love for a minute or people and then you fall out of love?
It happens, sweetheart, it happens.
Why do we have to be tortured?
That's not being tortured. That's not being tortured. That's learning. That's experiencing. I was in love. Listen, I was in love with a high school sweetheart from the 3rd grade till we graduated, and I thought we were going to be together for the rest of our lives. I thank God now, and I was in love.
That's what I'm saying. You should have had that if it wasn't real.
I was in love. But I thank God today that he and I didn't work out. I thank God today. I mean, I was like, whew, thank you, Jesus, I dodged that bullet. Because, hell, I couldn't see. I mean, looking back now, hindsight, I didn't want 7 children. I didn't want a guy that ended up being, less than what I needed. I thought that's we always think that's what we need.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't disagree with that. What I'm saying is, God, you have way more control and power than I do. Why would you make me think that that's what I needed? That's not what I need. Stop the thought.
No.
Take away the desire.
No.
Give me a pure heart that only wants
because if you
want me to want.
Because you will not learn certain life lessons through that. See, the lesson that I learned,
sweet lesson, tell me what you want me to hear. I'll write it down, I highlight it. I don't want to go out there. I'm tired of getting bumped and bruised and burnt and scathed. And just give me who I'm supposed to do this with, and let's do it, and let's ride off into the sunset.
But the part of
the ups and downs.
Part of the life lessons are you to take away something from all of those relationships. I mean, looking back, the lesson in that was my first love, but it wasn't going to be my only love. You see, he allowed me to love that person for all the reasons I thought were great, and the reasons I thought we would be together for the rest of our life. But he also showed me along the way that this guy was a cheater. He was going to forever be a cheater. And that's not what I deserved.
Yeah.
That's not who I needed to be with. So then I fall in love with somebody else. Yes, I did. I thought, oh,
What do you feel like you learned from these? What do you feel like you learned?
I feel like I learned a lot of things in life from all of those relationships. You know,
That are necessary today, or
That-
are
that
they
are-
just cautionary tales?
some were cautionary tales and some were life lessons. And it's just that I took away from that, okay, when the right person comes along, all of these life lessons I've learned will teach me how to love, give of myself unconditionally. It taught me the things that I like about people and the things that I don't like about people. It taught me some of the boundaries that I needed to establish for myself. It taught me some of the things that, I wasn't willing to compromise with. It taught me some of the things that we need as survival skills, as being women.
But do you feel like for the right person, you wouldn't need all that?
No, I think that you need all of those things.
Even if it's the right person?
Even if it's the right person, you still need all those skills. Because now, I'm going to tell you now, the right person doesn't mean it's going to be drama-free. The right person doesn't mean that everything is going to be all peaches and creams. The right person doesn't mean that there are not going to be battles. The right person doesn't mean that there are not going to be disagreements. There won't be, there won't be trials and tribulations. You still got to learn how to deal with those things, even with the right person. Mm-hmm. All of those other skills that you learn with those other people will help you navigate the relationship with that person, the right person.
Do you feel like marriage is necessary in today's society? Like I said, times have changed. We don't really need. I mean, at one point we didn't need each other for survival, but now with inflation, you do kind of need somebody else for survival. You need two incomes at this point.
You've always needed two incomes to survive in this world, to live truth be told, unless you were born with the silver spoon and extremely wealthy and, your family is extremely wealthy. Yeah, you do need somebody to help pull the resources together so that you can live, a certain way, if that's what you choose. Or you choose to not deal with somebody and you
struggle and be poor and fall into poverty.
I would say, not say struggle to be poor, but you have to accept what it is that you're able to do and not do. Those are choices that you make. But I think that
who benefits more from marriage, men or women?
Women have always benefited more from marriage, I think. I think some cases men equally benefit, but if you're looking clearly at tradition, it's been tradition, and now they've flipped the script a little bit along the way, but it's been the traditional idea or philosophy that men ought to take care of the women. Men ought to take care of the household. Men ought to take care of the family. So that being said, women are benefiting, but by the same token, women are bearing the burden of picking up all the pieces and raising the children and keeping the house and all those other traditional things. But women have always, that's just the way that, society is. That's just the way of the world. Women have traditionally benefited more. Now they flipped the script because now, you got the stay-at-home dads and you got the men who women are taking care of and men not working and men not doing, so, it depends on what works for your relationship.
So if you are a man who doesn't need a woman to take care of you, then what do you benefit from getting married? Why would you get married?
Because it's the honor and the respect and the dignity of being able to say, I've made a commitment to you. You made a commitment to me, and we're committed to each other for the rest of our lives. I'm not going to run out and go find somebody else when I get tired. I'm not going to, and likewise.
There's honor in that.
That's honor and respect and dignity in that. And then it says
from that woman or society?
It's amongst the two of you.
Oh, okay.
Amongst the two of you. Because it says, I choose you. You choose me. We choose each other, and that's what we're going to do. Everything at that point, we become one. We become one, and that we are navigating the rest of this world together as one. I pledge to take care of you. You pledge to take care of me. That's why I all have all those vows, to death do us part, for better, for worse, and all of these traditional things. That's what marriage is, ultimately is about. You take your resources and, hey, you both go sign your name when you go get on the, you go buy a car together, or you buy a house together, and you both sign. So those are the things that, a marriage bring. It's not so easy when you have a disagreement at that point. Bye, I'm going out the door. I'm going home to my mama, and and you stay here. A marriage forces you to say, hey, look, we have to talk about this. We have to work this out. We have to do, because we've made a commitment to one another.
But is that beneficial to a man, though? Because men don't want to do that. So do that benefit them? That holds them accountable, yes. But is it beneficial to, if it's like, I got to pay for everything, I got to take care of you, I got to provide, I got to do all this stuff like you said, and then you said that we acknowledge that it benefits the woman more. How, and then you're talking about it's beneficial because it holds them accountable, it gives them honor and respect amongst this woman. But outside of this honor, or the honor of saying that, hey, I am committed to one person, what do they get from being married? What would make a man want to do it?
A man would want to do it because, number one,
because they don't want to be held accountable, and they don't want to just be, most of them don't want to be committed to one woman. So what's going to be the, I need a wife? Like, oh yeah, I need
because a sense of integrity, a sense of honor, and a sense of respect. Do you want to live with a woman for the rest of your life and have your kids all over the place? Or do you want to build a foundation with one somebody and go through the rest of your life knowing that one somebody is yours? And I don't want to sound as if you were, we women are people or commodities, and they're property and they're owned by somebody. But it's a sense of saying, hey, this woman has committed and has made a vow to protect me and take care of me. If I were to become deathly ill, this is the person I want looking out for my best interest. If I'm laying in the hospital and the decision needs to be made to let me live or pull the plug, I trust that this woman would do the right thing, by me, So I would say, if a man doesn't want to make that commitment to know one somebody, then I don't think a woman should waste her time being solely committed to that one individual. Because if you don't want to marry me, then it's free game. Allow me to date multiple people to see who I want to perhaps settle down with and spend the rest of my life with. What's wrong with that? See, men don't want to do that. See, they want to sit and hold a woman back, hold a woman down, be chauvinistic and say, no, I don't want her seeing anybody else. I don't want her dating anybody else. I don't want her sleeping around with anybody else. I don't want her spending time with anybody else, but I don't want to marry her. Bullshit. Mm-hmm. So you can't have it both ways. If you don't see the benefit of her being there, then let her go.
Yeah. Well, also, I thought you was going to throw in the Bible because, you like to bring that up. But the Bible says in Proverbs 18:22, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. But also this part, they always leave out in church. It is not until, this is the only thing that really makes me be like, this is what men get from marriage. But it says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Absolutely. So it's like that favor that you're going to get from God. And that's why sometimes in society, we see men who are married tend to usually be super successful. They're going further in their career. And it's not just because the woman is holding down the household while they leave the house and chase their dreams.
But she gives them that balance.
She gives them balance. She might give them another perspective, but also because God has given him favor. I think we pray for favor all the time with God. God, when I go into this meeting, please grant me favor. But it's like, what if you had a built-in favor just by doing what God wanted you to do? To find a wife and obtain a good thing.
Absolutely.
and obtain favor
Because
from the Lord.
because when you look at it in that sense, in that spiritual sense, when you find a wife, you, like I said earlier, it's no longer I. It's us and we. You begin to look at it as a commitment, a union, a partnership. You begin to look at it as that, you always heard the little saying that two heads are better than one. You know, you've got somebody to bounce your ideas off. You've got somebody to walk down this road, this path with. You've got somebody in your corner because you made that commitment before God and you vowed to do what's in each other's best interest, for good or for bad, for better, for better, for worse, to sickness and health.
What if doing what's best for your partner goes against what's best for you?
Sometimes sometimes we do give up our rights for their wrongs. So doing what's best for them might not be the best thing for me. But you learn to love somebody unconditionally to where you can be selfless. And sometimes being selfless is a better choice. Sometimes you may have been selfless a number of times and felt as if you got no reward from it. And sometimes in a relationship, you don't always get a reward out of everything you do for your partner, and vice versa. You don't do things because you're looking for that reward. You do things out of love. Out of love, and for the betterment of the relationship.
I saw a post that said that when you or your partner are arguing and you go to vent to whoever, that person should be defending your partner. So he was like, if I marry a guy, I was talking about his wife, I'm married to my wife.
I saw something like that.
Yeah, and my wife goes to vent to 5 of her closest family and friends. Those 5 family and friends should be defending the husband. And if he goes to vent to his 5 closest family and friends, they should be defending the wife because they're the community that's supposed to hold this relationship together and try to, be their structure.
I see what he was saying in that regard is that if you come to vent to me, I need to show you things from his perspective and his view.
Yeah.
Because you're not always right. They're not always right. So I'm not going to always be your yes because your yes may not very well
You
be.
already think yes, so why would I keep giving you your perspective that you already have?
Right.
Why not give you a
Right. Get you to understand that there's multiple ways of viewing and looking at things.
Right.
So to get you to see that there, again, you need to have the ability to compromise and grow.
With that being said, how do you choose who you share or vent to about your marital problems?
You have to be very careful because sometimes you can vent to women, and them women you venting to are the ones that want to get with them and sleep with them or be with them.
Tap you.
No, well, I'm just saying. And likewise, some guys you may go vent to may be the ones trying to get with you. So it just depends. You have to be you have to be careful about people you vent to. You have to know that the people you're venting to have nothing but your best interest at heart. Those people that perhaps are married or maybe have gone through some of the similar things you've gone through, people who have a true spiritual foundation, people that truly believe in God, and not just somebody who's going to be your yes board.
I think I'm definitely in this space. My married friends give completely different advice from even my friends who have boyfriends.
Yeah.
My married friends give completely different advice. It'd be night and day.
Because they have a different vested interest.
It's like, wow, you made this scene. Like, they back it up with biblical text. They back it up with, it'd be so much more other than just, well, I feel like you my friend and I want what's best for you. Or I love you and friend, don't let, you know what I'm saying? Like, our women who are, I'm not going to say single because most of my friends, I don't think I have a friend that's not in a relationship, maybe like 2. but most everybody is in a relationship of some sort. But the ones who are married and have been married, way different advice. It's the advice I don't even think I'll be fully able to hold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because they've been through perhaps the same struggles or some of the same questions and have to understand. See, once you get married, you're locked in. Ain't no getting mad and, hey, I'm off to the races. See you whenever, deuces. But when you get married, you're forced to figure it out. You're forced to, hey, baby, look, I love you. We love each other. And that's the most important thing, I think, in a marriage you have to constantly remind yourself of. I love you. And I'm committed to us. So no matter what it takes, we're going to get through this. We're gonna make this work, and we're going to be happy. And one thing, some boundaries you may have to establish. Hey, one thing we're going to do in this house is have peace. Regardless of what we're going through, what our issues are, this is our sanctuary. This is our safe place. We're not gonna bring that energy into our house. And when it comes, not to say it's not gonna come, but when it comes, you got to be willing to get on one accord to get it out. Not tear each other down. You know, you got to be willing to build each other up, whatever that takes, whatever that looks like. But some men some men have to be big boys. Women got to be, girls got to grow up and be women, not little girls. You can't throw a temper tantrum about every little thing. You got to realize, okay, if you have to refer back to that old parable, what would Jesus do?
Jesus wasn't dealing with these niggas. Okay? Not these. I don't know what Jesus would do with these. I don't know.
So
come down here and rewrite the book. We need another instruction manual.
Well, unfortunately, nobody come, this
these
generation.
On Instagram? Jesus do not even know.
Well, first of all, I got a problem with a lot of the stuff on Instagram because people think or perceive that to be real.
I feel like the only way that we can combat that problem is to put out the real. Everybody want to talk about Instagram and the internet being and villainizing it and thinking that it's like, oh, it's not real, it's not real. That's because that's what people are putting out. So if we want it to be more real, then we need to stop trying to hide the real and put the real out. It's like if you want to complain about, oh, it's so many bad police, well, then we need some good ones.
Yep.
The only way to combat the bad is to overshine it or outdo with good. And I feel like everybody is so afraid of showing their real and being honest and being transparent and saying, hey, like, yes, of course, we're going to show and celebrate our wins and our highs. And we're going to be like, this is me when I'm happy. And this is me when I accomplish something. This is me when I'm doing my best. But then it's like nobody wants to put out, this is me when I'm not doing my best. This is me when I'm down. This is me when I haven't got it figured out. This is me when I'm in a transitional phase. This is me when I'm struggling. Hey, y'all broke? I'm broke too. Like, whatever. You have to be honest, but I feel like everybody is so judged or so scarred or guarded from being transparent and being honest. But then we be frustrated when we only see the good, but it's like nobody is brave enough or open enough or can walk in their truth enough to be like, this is all of it. Good, bad, ugly. And it's like, that is the real. The real is there are going to be highs, and the real is there are going to be lows.
Absolutely.
Every single week, every single day.
Absolutely.
That's one thing I do like about therapy. My therapist, shout out to, I just started back therapy. But my therapist starts each session off as like, what are some of your highs? What are some of your lows? And I feel like that's so relevant because it's, even when you in a season of lows, it was a high somewhere in there. Like, what, you know what I mean? And even when you win a season of highs, it's still a low somewhere in there. So I feel like,
in other words, and I agree with you. In other words, you can be very, very successful in one aspect of your life, but you're going through so much emotional trauma and drama in another aspect and at the same time.
All
so
the
how
time.
can that be good and evil, and how can that be how can it coexist?
It's a cycle.
How can your ups and your downs coexist at the same time?
And I feel like we got to show that.
And that's life.
Because it's a lot of people that feel like, oh, it's me that keeps having these horrible times, or it's me that only goes through these lows. And it's so many other people out there that even when they showing you the good, just know that it is some bad in there somewhere.
Absolutely.
But we don't want to share that, or we don't want to be open about it. And I feel like you said, it's the cycle. You're never going to have one season where, I don't know, I ain't going to say never, because I'm praying that I get a season where all of my areas are doing amazing at the same time. But it's like, you'll be in one area, like one season, your career might be booming, finances might be straight, but your health might be struggling, or your family might be going through something. Or then you might have another season where your family, your health, your love life is doing great, but you financially struggling. It's always going to be some area that need
some improvement. Yep. And those are areas that we have to continue to pray about.
And with being honest on the internet, it's like people would share. I know it's people, like even myself, I find there to be strength in vulnerability, and I find it to be freeing to be honest about where I'm at and showing up authentically with who I am in this season or in this moment. But it's also like, I feel like I have to protect myself or guard myself to a certain extent, because I don't want to be judged or ridiculed or held against.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want anything I say or whatever season I'm in to be held against me. Oh, prime example, talking about marriage and relationships. Brittany Renner sat down with Shannon Sharp, right, on his podcast. She is about 33 years old and a mother of a child to PJ Washington, I believe.
Who is that?
Some basketball player. Regardless, I think he played basketball. I don't know. We'll double check. But either way it goes, she sat down with Shannon Sharp, being honest about her past, and she spoke about all these different transitions she's been in the relationships, and even was I found it freeing as a woman to watch another woman sit up there and talk about, like, yeah, I went through this season where I did not love myself and I did not date accordingly. I did not require as much of myself as I do now, and I didn't have these standards. And so in the interview, she ended up saying, yeah, I have slept with 35 people in my life. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, Shannon Sharp damn near spit his drink out and was like, why would you say that? And the amount of judgment that she immediately got.
I feel, she's a slut. Oh, she's a whore. She's a this.
And on social media, they're like, put a fucking scarlet letter on her and burn her alive.
Yeah, but you know, but at the end of the day, there are men out there that slept with hundreds and thousands of women.
I would have to say, Shannon Sharp, who's sitting right there, who judged her, and immediately, you are a professional athlete. I'm willing to bet my life that you slept with 35 times
10
right
women. I mean, so we, our society, is so quick to judge people.
And she was honest. She's like, I don't have, and what I really, really loved is she was like, if anything for me can be, if anything for me can be taken away by my truth, then it's not for me. Like, this is who I am. This is what it is. And I'm still looking for my true love. But it's like, I respected her honesty so much. And it's just like, y'all want on one end for everybody to walk in their truth and be honest, but the amount of judgment that y'all throwing the stones, and it's like, you could, if you're judging her for something that you would need 10 more stones thrown at you for.
And they wouldn't have the courage to acknowledge. I was just talking to somebody earlier today, the makeup artist, about people I admire and people and the reason why I admire them. And I named a few, she named a few for various reasons. And one of the things I told her, I said, you know, I have gotten to a point in my life where I don't buy into a whole lot of what social media says and what people say in social media, because at the end of the day, I don't give a damn about what people think or feel about me. I really don't. I mean, because their judgment of me doesn't make me. Their likes of me doesn't determine who I am, you know. And I told her this: Jesus Christ was the only perfect person I've ever heard of or know of. And damn it, he was ostracized, he was killed, and he did no wrong. So if they did all of that to a perfect man, individual, what the hell make me think they're going to treat me any different? So I don't care.
And I think it's about building up enough
Balls.
self-confidence, belief,
And understanding that people, society,
don't determine who
don't determine who I am
and my value.
and my values.
Yeah.
They didn't make me. They can't break me.
Yeah.
They can't show, only thing they can show me is who they are. You see, all that negativity that they threw at her, that's because they can't live their truth.
Yeah.
They haven't reached their purpose, their satisfaction with themselves. I love me.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied with me. I like who I am. I like what I stand for. They can't, things happen to people all the time. Hell, things are happening to me right now in my own personal life. I don't care enough to share it because I'm not going to allow you to judge me. And people have already judged me and don't even know the truth.
Yeah.
They don't know the facts. Everybody got an opinion. And I tell them, and I say all the time, everybody got an opinion just like everybody got an asshole.
And everybody got all these opinions, and very rarely do anybody have any solutions.
Absolutely. And people opinions not going to change the circumstances, not going to change the situation. Everybody's opinion is just their opinion. What are they doing to help solve it or correct it or change it? I say hats off to the young lady,
Brittany Renner.
Brittany, continue to be you. Nobody knows what you've gone through. Nobody knows your struggles. And ain't nobody done a damn thing to help you get to where you are. So your sanity, your peace of mind, your ability to put out there, live with, and accept who you are, hats off to you. Hats off. And I wish the whole world, if the world and all of these naysayers on social media and all of these people got so much to say, if they were half as honest and transparent as she is and was, the world would be a better place. Hands down, the world would be a much better place.
That's just on period.
Period.
And I like that I was thinking about what Deion Sanders said too. It's like, I'm so confident in myself. Do it look like I care about what you think about me?
Thank you. Thank you.
Like I'm sitting up here playing it.
I can't do this because you think of this, or I gotta stop doing this because you're gonna think this, or I can't go do that because the hell with what people think.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, and I'm gonna say this, and I don't mean to be vulgar with it, but what somebody else eat doesn't make me shit. Period. So it is what it is. You don't like me. Hey, I grew up and I have gone through my life with people saying shit about me. Oh, I don't fuck with Robinson. She's arrogant. What the hell is arrogant? Oh, I don't mess with her. She's this, she that. I'm confident in who I am. I know who I am. I know what shit I'm gonna put up with and what I'm not gonna put up with.
It's confidence.
I walk a certain way. I look a certain way. I'm going to do what I want to do a certain way. And it's because, I got to be arrogant. I'm not arrogant. I just know who I am. I know who owns me, who controls me, who I look up to. And that's only my God in heaven, my almighty Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So everybody else, can't nobody else down here do nothing for me.
Yeah.
Can't nobody on this earth get me to heaven. Can't nobody else, when I'm on my knees praying and asking God for whatever it is I'm praying for, can't nobody walking around here and all them folks on Instagram come through for me. All these folks walking around here talking with all these opinions, they're not going to give me the peace the grace, the love, and understanding that I may need. They can't do it for me. They can offer their 2 cents, their opinions, that ain't going to do nothing.
Yeah.
Does absolutely nothing. So, Brittany, hold your head up, baby. And I'm going to tell you, like my grandmama used to say, pull your pants down and toot your ass up and tell them to kiss your big black ass. Bottom line.
She do got a Betty too. She got a Betty. Okay, so it's time for the record. You got any for the records?
For the record, I'm going to keep being who I am. I'm going to keep doing me. And if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. That's your problem.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something you got to deal with. Not me, because I like me.
For the record, I think I can take a little bit of you and Brittany's dose of confidence, and I don't give a fuck on this. So,
yeah,
that's what I'm taking.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
what do you want? It's time for I Want to Know. Well, you got to ask me what you want to know, and I ask you what I want to know. What do you want to know? I want to know, what type of man do you want me to marry?
I want you to marry a man who's, number one, who's going to love you, who's going to respect you, who's going to protect you, who's going to take care of you, so God knows I won't have to, and who's going to be willing to do whatever it takes to make your marriage and relationship work. You see, understanding that I want a man that ain't going to be no little bitch, no little crybaby, and always want things their way. I want a man who's mature enough for you to be willing to understand shit happens. Life happens.
Life happens.
Life happens. Grow up, go on. Because what's important is the moments that you guys have and spend together. Mm-hmm. The memories that you create. Not worrying about the rest of the world and what they think.
Yeah.
Or what they think that, you know, or what he thinks it should be. A man strong enough to stand in his truth and be honored to be your husband and be honored to be the father of your children. And do whatever it needs to be done to protect that. You see, in a marriage, I think that both have to be willing to take a bullet for each other. It's like, hey, I'm honored to be your wife, you're honored to be my husband, and we're going to protect that union at all costs, because you understand that once that union is made and created, the devil is coming. Mm-hmm. The devil is coming in all shape, forms, and fashion. But you got to be strong enough, confident enough in each other and in that relationship to say, Satan, get behind me. No matter what happens, you ain't breaking this up. Because once you make a commitment, and I've said it, and I said it in my own household, I ain't going nowhere and you ain't either. The death do us, we leaving each other when one of us is being carried out feet first. In a box. Whatever, on the gurney. Hey, because that's what a commitment is. We can get mad, we can fuss, we can cuss, but I ain't finna, when I get mad at home, I ain't finna go cheat. And when you get mad and you ain't finna go cheat, we not looking for excuses to do wrong.
We not looking for excuses to do wrong. We looking for excuses, reasons to do right.
To do right, and to do right by each other and the relationship. And I want a man for you that's going to spend the rest of his life making you happy.
Oh, I want to be happy, Lord.
That's the kind of man I want. A man who's willing at all costs and not be tit for tat. Not remind you every 2 seconds, I did this, I did that, I gave you this, I gave you that. Okay, you're supposed to. That's what men do. Men are traditionally supposed to shower women with gifts, create things. And then likewise, women do the same for men. So that's what people do in relationships.
Yeah.
But don't make me pay for it every 2 seconds.
Oh, don't make me pay for it.
Don't remind me.
Jesus paid it all.
Yeah.
Okay. What you want to know?
What do I want to know? What do I want to know? I want to know, do you think that women should give men time limits in terms of in the relationship. Either we're taking it to the next level within so much time, or I'm moving on. What do you think? And do you think that girls in your generation, do you think that they should set the limit to, hey, I'm willing to date you for a year, 2 years. After that, I'm moving on.
I think so. I don't know if you always vocalize that to that time frame to that partner, but I think you definitely set it for yourself in different seasons of your life. You might got different time periods. When I'm younger, I might have 2-3 years. When the older I get, it might go from 2-3 years to a year. Then it might go from a year to 6 months. I think you know what your time limit or frame should be to make up your mind and decide. And I think it changes as you grow. I don't think you say it to somebody though. Why not? You give it to them and allow them to, you make it in your mind, because that could come off as like ultimatum-y to me.
But let me ask you this though.
And don't nobody like, I know I don't like being told what to do.
It's not ultimatums, but shouldn't you? And I guess this is what I'm asking. This all goes hand in hand. My generation, when we date, well, let me ask you the question first. In your generation, do you date with an expectation that this is going to be or possibly has the potential of being your husband? Because I think if you don't date with that potential, you're wasting your time anyway.
Do you feel like you start off dating like that? I feel like now in my 30s, I date with the potential of this could be my husband. But when I was in my 20s, no. I was in a serious relationship from 20 to 25, and I felt like I didn't want to be in that relationship anymore because it felt too much like a marriage without the marital benefits for me. So therefore, when I got out of it, I was not dating because I was still young. I did not go into dating for marriage. I went into dating for fun. Dating from 25 to 27-ish, 28, I wasn't thinking about any person that I talked to from that time. I was not looking at them as, you are my husband. Do you have husband qualities? I was looking at like, can we have a good time? Are we going to have fun together? Can you show me things that I've never seen? Can I learn things from you? Can I have new experiences with you? I'm just being honest. During that time, it was not about finding my husband. So did I make the best decisions with dating? No. But did I enjoy myself? Yes. Do I have regrets of people that I may have shared myself with during that time? Yes. But do I feel like I was doing it? I know I wasn't doing it to be married. But then as I got older, 28, 29, you start feeling like, okay, I do want to get married. Now, what does that look like? So then from there to now, I've been dating for marriage. But I think in different seasons, like somebody might be 37 and been married since they was 18 and divorced. They not dating for marriage. They're dating to have a good time. I think you got to find who in the season of where you are when you're dating.
Fair enough. Because I think kind of the older way was, we all went into it much younger, looking for
marriage and full time.
Yeah.
And I wish I had instead of being in a serious relationship from 20 to 25, I wish I had been single, dating, having that fun period earlier on, and then been committed 25. So yeah, and I shouldn't have been committed so early. But then from 25 to now, I probably would have been married already. Had I spent 25 to 30 really dating for marriage, I probably being younger. And I would have probably found my husband or been married already, because I would have been already had gotten the bullshit out the way and younger. And now I think the older that I get, it's going to be harder and harder for me to find my husband or to be married. Because the reality is, as Black women, as we continue to grow in education and being able to provide for ourselves and status and all of these things, as Black women, our choices lessens. That's the statistic. And as Black men, it broadens because, men age, they get sexier. The older they get, the larger the dating pool gets for them because they're more established. They can date Black, white, they date more people. They date younger. As an older woman, you're not really going to date a younger man because for what? But as an older man, you'll date a 22-year-old. Diddy kid 60. He can date a 27-year-old. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how old he is.
You get
I don't
60,
know.
you know, you get 60 and you date a 22-year-old, they look at you crazy.
As a woman, yeah, but as a man, his pool is bigger.
But you know, that brings me to Cher dating this guy who was half her age and having a good time. I say, hey, Cher, go for it, girl.
Yeah.
You know, I said, you know, every cougar, if you want to go for it, do it. You know, be happy, whatever makes you happy. You know, and the hell with society, their thoughts, their opinions, and she may, or that relationship may have lasted a little longer had folks stayed out of it. Folks, you shouldn't be dating this young guy. He's, you know, twice your age, you're twice his age, and blah, 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 blah. And I think if we learn as people to just say, the hell with your thoughts and your opinion, I think we would be better off. Right. A lot more people in this world would be happier and better off. But we buy into society so much. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just pushing back on society. I'm just not going to buy into society, and I just don't give a damn what people say or think about me. Just don't care.
I love that.
I don't care.
And on that note, thank y'all for watching this Mommy and Me episode. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. Make sure that you are liking, commenting, and subscribing. Oh, go run up our audio numbers too. Search Mommy and Me by Brii Renee on all streaming audio platforms, and subscribe, like, listen to the audio while you're driving in the car. And until next time, see you later.
See you later.